My Hero Academia.
Hello and welcome to the 102nd episode of the My Hero Academia podcast. I'm Kendra, and today with me, as per usual, I have Sophie.
Hello, I'm here as per usual.
And also, per usual, James.
Hello.
And Gary.
How do you do?
I don't know, but is that a French accent? I don't know what that was. But this is a bonus episode.
I don't know.
Bonus. Yay. Where we're going to talk about the top 5 characters that we think deserves a backstory or an arc of their own, focusing on them. And we're going to go through our top 5, starting at 5 and working our way up. But the first person to tell us who their 5th most backstory needing person is Gary.
Okay, my number 5, it's my best boy, Shinso Patoshik. The reason he's number 5 and not higher is just because we have seen a little bit of him already, a little bit of his backstory. I definitely want more. I can't get enough. I need more. But yeah, he's so deep, and it's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, mostly I want more screen time. That's the main thing I want from him.
Mm-hmm. And like he got a little bit of his own kind of arc, what he was able to be in like the class fight. So I think like him kind of getting a little bit more focus and like the and like even aside from like the brainwashing, scaring people, I think that might.
Yeah, and I'd like a little bit more of like his middle school life, even though we kind of got the gist of it, but I still think it's like really interesting.
Even though we don't have like much on his like background, there's so many fan arts of him and his dad who is like a really tired doctor. And it's not just from one fan artist. It seems to be like a thing that multiple fan artists do. And it's really good. I'm not knocking it. I just feel like it's really interesting. Maybe like a few people saw it and was like, this is a great aesthetic, which it is, that just rolled with it.
Yeah, and that too, and like I see a lot of fan art with him with cats because it's mentioned in his bio. It's like I'd like to see more cat content in general.
Well, I thought you meant like Cats the Musical. I was like, what?
No, nobody wants that.
But I kind of like the idea. We talked about it last episode about people who could make good teachers. I think he might make a good teacher as well. I guess he could put you in detention really easily just by like brainwashing you. Which might be bad. It violates some rights.
That's an interesting concept too, because like he could barely use his power as a teacher as well. Like just in demonstrating his quirk, he could use it, but that would be about it because it would be like a moral question. So that would be also really interesting to explore that too.
And I guess like the hanging question is he going to join class A or B, which is interesting.
Yeah, hopefully we see that, and like the whole structure of society doesn't fall apart before he can join class. You know what I mean?
He's gonna get so mad if like when he finally gets to go into heroics, UA gets destroyed or whatever, or like society falls.
Yeah.
It's like, I gotta do everything around here. So he like takes down the league by himself because he just walks up to Shiggy and it's like, hey, and Shiggy's like, hey, and he's like, awful question. Can he make someone hurt themselves?
I
probably,
or I guess
could though.
It might snap them out of it though, because physical force causes them to snap. So he couldn't just tell Shiggy to like jump off a mountain or something. I guess he could, because then. But this is all very dark. Anyway,
I could see like him discovering his quirk, something like that happening. That would be cool.
I kind of imagined his backstory like that one Twilight episode. I just can't remember what the name of the episode is. I know if Gary remembers it with the
Twilight Zone, you mean?
Yeah, I did say Twilight Zone, did I?
You just said Twilight, so I was thinking of like the Bella.
No. Like, there's that Twilight Zone with that one kid that can like do whatever he wants. Yeah, that's kind of
the people into the cornfield or whatever it is.
Yeah, I wonder if that's how his backstory is, but it's just too creepy.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
That's a good one.
But James, who is your backstory wanter?
Okay, mine's not as dark, but it's Fat Gum.
Ooh.
Mostly because we really don't get any sort of like who he was before he was a hero for him. Because I was trying to pick like who do we not have like a little bit of a backstory? And I wanted to know like how his school life was before he was a hero and stuff like that. Like, did he get made fun of? But because people have different quirks, but I wonder if he got made fun of for his quirk or something like that, or like, what else was I gonna say about that?
That's a good point. Oh, cute little fat gun being so sweet and soft-hearted, and then people being fattest to him.
And like his attitude, and like I like the way his attitude is, because like a lot of people are really huge fans of him. So I wonder how his character developed into like a very lovable hero who gives out candy. I want to know more about him.
Because like people like give him like free food and like they really like him. So
yeah, and he's not even like a top 10 either. So like I want to know what makes him so like likable.
And maybe like for a while, maybe he didn't always he didn't go around as like the bigger form of him, and like 'cause we only really see like small, what do you call it, skinny gum or whatever people are calling it, like fit gum. So that might be interesting. Is like, when did he decide to start doing that, or was he always fat gum? Like, was he always fat gum, and that like the other version you never really saw, or was it the opposite way?
Yeah, he also kind of reminds me of Choji from Naruto, because Choji kind of has the same power where he can like he can turn skinny and hot. But,
and I guess he kind of got an arc. I guess, are you saying this for backstory, or are you saying
for backstory?
Arc? Yeah. Because I guess like he kind of got a little bit of his own arc with the overhaul thing. But I think backstory, I hope that there is like, I don't know. I think it would be cute. I hope it wouldn't be sad. I think it would be nice. I hope he.
Yeah, I want to know what it.
I hope his parents owned a restaurant.
When you started talking about this, like all I could think of is like his family being a group of like having a similar power, but he's like not quite as big as them. So like I think of the beginning of like the Weird Al fat video where like they're bullying him and saying, "You ain't fat, you ain't nothing."
Or you could do it the sad angle, like if his family like he like ate them out of house and home if they didn't have similar quirks. But I like the idea of them having similar quirks more, because then it's like, yeah, maybe they use theirs more for cooking or something, and then he was there. That's why they're like, oh, heroes ain't shit or something. Yay. For me, I picked all of Class B because I couldn't decide on one of them, and like we got like a little bit of them with Class A versus Class B, but I want more because I think they're all fascinating. So we got what do you call the My Villain Academia? I want My Heroes B Academia. Just because all of them, especially Hananuke and Beastie Boy, Santa Black, yes, Seth Rogen, like all of those people, I think they're all really interesting, and I would love if they got like even a little bit more focus. That's why I want Shinso to join Class B. So that way we see them more.
A lot of people on Twitter did say that they want the whole of 1B to get backstories, but I'm going to say, Kendra, that's a little bit of a cop-out answer.
Okay, let's think about it. I would
just
say
one.
Okay, Hananuke then. Because he has a scary face, but I think he got in by recommendation as well, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's really interesting, and I would want to know, were people scared of him, and like what did he have like kind of the Mirio factor when his quirk was harder to use, as it's just like softening things, so that could make it harder for him if he didn't use it right. So I don't know, I want more Hananuke in my life. Just put it in my veins. And Sophie, who's your number 5?
My number 5 is Kamui Woods.
Ooh.
Because he became like a very popular pro hero very quickly for like a young man, and we know that he, like, it's already been mentioned that he had a dark upbringing. What's the dark upbringing that has led him to have such a crazy girlfriend as Mount Lady? I mean, I love Mount Lady.
Didn't he sell his
she
backstory?
mad?
Yeah, he sold it for a movie apparently. That's why I'm like, I wanted more. Let me see this movie.
I want to know more about it. I feel like he's really fascinating character.
Maybe he was raised by lumberjacks, and he's just really angsty about it.
I don't know, but I don't think we need to hypothesize everyone's possible backstory.
Okay, sorry. Let's turn this ship around. Gary, who's your number 4?
My number 4 is a specific Class 1B character, Kuro Iro, the Phantom Black. I like his personality. He's just like dark and broody, but also like really wacky. Like, I'm a mushroom now. You know, he just like goes off. Like, I love that. So I'd like to see why he is how he is. He kind of reminds me of like Jack Nicholson or something, maybe. I don't know. But he's a fun character, and I like his design a lot. It's really cool.
Do you think he'd have a dark backstory?
I like. It's probably like his full family is like Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony or something. They're all like really happy and like bright colors, and he's like the literal black sheep of the family, something like that.
Oh,
I'd love it. I'd love it if all the emo teenage boys, like, we think that they're gonna have a dark backstory, and then they've got just like a really like normal suburban happy home.
Right. That's usually how it goes for like the emo kids. No offense. I'm just joking there.
Yay. James, you're number 4.
I pick Destro just because we don't know that much about him. We do have a little bit of information on him, but I want to know the whole meta liberation stuff. I know everybody wants, and I know that probably eventually we're gonna get it.
Destro or Destro?
Original Destro.
Ah, okay.
And then there was also that other one, but I could never remember his name, so that's why I picked Destro. But that assassin guy, I couldn't remember his name.
Destro's such a good choice, and I'm so interested in the history of My Hero Academia and the history of quirks. So Destro would, like, I feel like he would do 2 birds with 1 stone, and maybe we could see more of the previous one for all users. I don't know, I might be picking too much. But we could learn a lot about the world through him.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going with, like more of like the whole start of the Hero Society or the Quirk Society kind of stuff. And I feel like, yeah, if you do Destro, you do get both of those.
And it's funny because, like, it makes you think of, like, for Harry Potter, how, like, Harry would fall asleep during history class, but we're, like, all fascinated about it. So I feel like Deku would be interested in history class, so it doesn't work. But I agree. I want more of, like, the history of heroes. I think would be cool. And for me, I picked Hagakure because she's invisible. What's her deal? Like, we don't really know that much about her. I just want to know everything about Hagakure. Like, does she have a bit of anxiety from being invisible? I don't know. Tell me more about her.
There was an extra, like, little OVA thing where we got to meet both her parents, and they were both invisible as well. But there's some, like, discussion on whether that's really...
Was that an OVA or was that the comics? Was that the My Hero Smash or whatever it's called?
Yeah, it could have been that, but either way, like, people aren't sure if it's canon or not. So, I mean, you could argue it either way, but I'd like to see more of her backstory as well. I'm with you there. And growing up being invisible, especially as like growing up as like a young invisible woman, how did that shape her?
And I wonder, like, she has a pretty girly personality, and I wonder if part of that's just because, like, that's the only part of her that you can really see, and maybe, like, I don't know if she's really that into clothes or anything, but I think if I was invisible and that was the only way I could really express myself, I might do that. And also, like, we barely know about her actual quirk either, because she can do some, like, light refraction stuff, which we only found out, like, during the provisional exam, I think.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just want to know more about her. I think she's cool. But, Sophie, who's your number 4?
So my number 4 is Setsuna Tokage, aka Lizard Tail Cut. Not a surprise to anyone. From the 2 that got into by honourable mentions in Class 1A, they're both like rich kids. So they had a lot of tutoring. Like, if Momo didn't have the level of education that she had, I don't think she would be able to use her quirk as well, because it needs that level of intelligence. So, and then Todoroki was obviously child abused into his level of quirk control. So how did Setsuna get to be as good as her quirk as she is?
I like that.
Yep, that, and I just like her. I think she's a saucy minx.
What gave her the resting bitch face? We all
Yeah.
want to know.
No, she doesn't have resting bitch face.
Oh,
She's
that's the
very
other girl.
smiley. How dare you?
Oh, she is? I'm trying
Yeah,
to think.
the one who's you're thinking of size.
Okay. AKA Pokemon Go Girl. Yeah, I like Setsuna. Because she got like really hyped up as kind of being like their Bakugo or like something, but then like she didn't turn out to be that good.
I think she was. It's just that their teamwork was so good, and they didn't expect it.
Yeah,
A team led by Bakugo.
yeah, they weren't. Yeah, they were going off of what like previous Bakugo villains. So I like her. She's cool. Woo.
I'd like to see her lead, like not necessarily leading an arc, but in an arc where she can succeed. And as you said, we get to find out about that hyped up character.
Woo. Gary, who's your number 3?
My number 3 is Psycho Intelli from the filler episode in the what was that called? The provisional license exam arc. I want to see her like in the manga actually. It doesn't necessarily need to be like a huge backstory. It's just somebody I'd like to see a little bit more of. I actually would love to see her school. It sounds really cool because it's more military feel to it, and it seems like an all-girl school too. I think that would be like it would make even a good spin-off to me. I mean, I'd probably be the only one that would read it, but I don't know. It seems really interesting. I like her personality too. Like, how did she get that arrogant? And you can kind of see why, because it like deals with intelligence. Her quirk does, and so she's like hyper intelligent. But to like seeing her after the fight with Momo and seeing if that like humbled her at all, or just kind of that stuff. I'd like to see character development in her, even though she has like she's really one note.
I love that you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Sophie.
I love that you've gone for a filler character. That's so rogue.
Is it really? But I love her so much.
I love the idea of her kind of being like a continuing rival for Momo. I think would be really cool. Like, I want her to come back in a filler episode and like she can like fight Sophie. She can fight Sophie. She can fight Momo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I want her to like break beyond the filler. That's all I want. I want something official. Anyway, that's my thought.
Yay, James, who is your number 3?
All right, this one's not very much of a surprise, but I picked Yosetsu Awase, also known as Weldy. Mostly because I just want to know how, like, he's very, you see that he's very selfless. I want to know how he got that selfless attitude and stuff like that. And, like, he's very confident with his abilities, as we've seen. So I just want to know, like, if there's a backstory, like, how he was so confident of his quirk and his abilities. That's pretty much it.
I guess I would wonder if he needs any of Momo's like that level of smart for thinking like bonding stuff on a molecular level. Do you have to think about how those things react to each other? Like, I wonder if his quirk is something that requires a lot of thought.
Yeah, because honestly, the way I see his quirk is kind of OP, just because like it's at the atomic level, so kind of like I don't know if you have to worry about how bonds and stuff work.
Oh, true.
So
but I mean, like, if they reacted to each other, like if you bonded an acid and like a base.
Yeah, because you just can't bond everything to everything else. There has to be some sort of logic to it. And I wonder, like, if he had to study for that, or he had to like go through trial and error or something like that. But it'd be very interesting to know.
And I guess he can also unbond, right? Because he bonded himself to Momo, and he was able to undo it. So I guess it's not like a permanent thing. I think that adds like an extra layer to it, that he has that level of like control.
Yeah.
We've not seen like an urban stealthy arc yet, and he could be really good there.
Yeah, I think the closest we got was the
Stain.
The class. What was it? The class.
Yeah, the setting there. Yeah, that's true.
Because he'll always have a good grip as long as because he can weld himself to stuff, so he could like climb walls and stuff. Like I think it's a very versatile quirk that he has. Like more versatile than you might think at first. Go, Weldy, go. Do you think his family are welder? Do you think I wonder if he got scoped out at all? Like what made him want to be a hero when like that's such a useful quirk for other stuff?
Yeah, that's
Cool.
what I want to know too. Just because he could just work in industrialism or something, and like he decided to be a hero.
But they're not allowed to use their quirks.
That's what I just realized.
I keep
Yeah,
forgetting about that.
That's so weird.
I guess it like gives them a unfair advantage.
Mm-hmm. But you think like there should be like a license you can apply for. That's not
what I was
being a hero.
hoping you'd get something like that, but
Like a hero license.
But not a hero
worker's license.
I want a license to use my quirk and not have to fight people.
Yeah.
But I guess that's maybe the problem of their world a little bit. So I wonder if maybe there's the potential for him to struggle with that or something.
Mm-hmm.
Might be cool if we do want to see him in other arcs. I'm gonna pick Ochiko just because I think she's really cool, but I want to see I don't know. I think the money angle of her reason to be wanting to be a hero is really interesting, especially when you consider Stain. So like I want to know more about Ochiko, and I hope she becomes more major, and also like her kind of fighting style of like in your face like close combat she has to like touch people to activate her quirk. I think like because I don't know, I just want to see more Ochiko. She's a major character who doesn't get to do that much.
Yeah, and we've seen like major arcs for Todoroki, Ida, and like obviously Izuku. And the next one in their friendship group is Ochiko.
It's her turn.
It is her turn. Yep, that's a good choice.
Woo.
And my number 3 is Momo. Yeah. I know we've seen a lot of her already, but I feel like it's kind of unfair for me to put her in this list because I've created my own headcanon backstory. And like, so I originally thought that she was from a hero family until Sandra corrected me that she's just from a rich family. And I really like the idea that her dad is like a financial criminal. Like, what if he gets caught? That's a very OC, like Orange County storyline. But like, what if he's like a financial criminal and she finds out, or like I don't know, what if he's like supplying materials and equipment to the League of Villains, where they're manufacturing now like villain attire. I don't know. I want to know more about that, and I'd like to see her, like, we've seen her take lead roles, like, but semi-lead roles in an arc, but not even in an arc, just in like small parts of an arc. But I don't know. Momo, she's my choice.
You mentioned like the criminal part, and it just made me think like, what if Reed Destro was Momo's father somehow? That would have been a really interesting angle. Like, that's why she's rich, because her parents own Detnerat. That would have been cool, but obviously that didn't happen. But
no, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. No.
Okay.
No Reed Destro connection to Momo. Her dad can be like business buddies with her dad, but no further.
That's fair. Let's hear Gary, your number 2.
My number 2, you probably all be scratching your heads on like, who is that? That's why I chose them. But Mr. Brave. He's a pro hero that we saw a little bit in the Overhaul arc. You know what I mean?
Is it the hair guy?
Yeah, it is the hair guy.
Okay.
So he is able to like pull individual strands of his hair out and turn them into blades. And he does like a very little amount, but he does have like a speaking role. He does a little bit there. But he has the most glorious sideburns that I have ever seen. But I just... So, I know he's really obscure and a tiny bit role, but I don't know, he's really intriguing. It's mostly his character design. And with pro heroes in general, I just want to know more about them, because even the ones that we know much about, we don't know much about.
Did you give your number 2 slot to someone because of their sideburns?
Pretty much.
I like that though.
I guess. Do we see him at the? Is he at like attacking the League right now?
I think he is there. I think he is.
Probably, because like
He was at
everyone's
the, I
there.
think it was at the back entrance when with shoot, I can't remember the characters that were at the back entrance. They were in that bunker kind of place. It was like never mind, but I think he was there.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the idea of him maybe playing a bit of a role in this arc. I think would be really cool.
Just like doing something. That's all I ask for.
I'm looking at him. He looks very like anime. Like he looks like I don't know. He has like kind of like his mask that's kind of goggles, and he has like big hair.
Yeah.
He looks like a Saint Seiya character.
Yes, maybe that's what I was going to say.
He reminds me a little bit of like Kirishima too, design-wise. At least his head.
And also his outfit kind of reminds me of All Might a little bit. Maybe just like because he has a red band. And he has like shoulder pads, so maybe not. But go
He has
brave,
like a stain. He has a stained cloak.
Oh no! I don't know. I think it could be cool. I always wonder like how pros became heroes. Like,
Right.
What school did he go to? Like, I don't know. How old is he? I don't think we even know.
No, we don't know much of anything other than his quirk and that he fought in the overall arc. That's about it. But there's so many characters that are just like kind of there. Here's my quirk. I'll do this, and it's like, okay, well, now what?
I just want to know his real name and see if it's just like Harry McHarrison or something.
Yeah, or like Atlanta Brave or something like that.
Ooh, I don't know. James, who's your number 2?
Well, my number 2 was my number 1, but I decided to switch them because I think my number 1 is a little bit more important. But my number 2 is Christopher Skyline, and who is that? Captain Celebrity.
Oh, I was like, who?
He has the most like.
You need to explain him to people that don't read Vigilantes.
Okay, well, he is a top-rank American pro hero in Vigilantes. I mean, that's pretty much it. Other than he's kind of like obviously a celebrity, so like the paparazzi and stuff are on him all the time. So
he's a bit of a like cocky asshole, and he has a bit of like character development and someone to kind of like manage him.
Yeah, he needs a manager, but I just want to know how like he became a hero. Honestly, like trying to remember back in Vigilantes, I don't think we got too much of a backstory other than that he was just under a lot of scrutiny with the paparazzi and stuff, and like all his flubs and stuff like that. But I would like to know more about him.
I think we got a little bit of this with his wife. But Gary, you were gonna say?
That's what I was gonna say. I love his wife. She's like top 3 characters in Vigilantes.
I just think it was funny. I think it was at the same time that Food Wars had a similar thing, and it was like the exact same relationship. So I was like, but I think it's cute.
And I want to know his life pre-celebrity because all we've seen of him is all his celebrity life. So I want to know how it was before he was like super famous or anything like that.
My number 2 is Momo, just because I do wonder like why she decided to become a hero, like especially if her parents they're just rich, like why? What's the motivation? Like I don't know. I'm just curious about that, and kind of like as well as like she doesn't want to make stuff because she doesn't want to like destroy the economy. So I wonder like if her parents instilled that in her, and I just want more Momo as well. Like let her do stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, Sophie, what do you have a number 2?
Yes, I do have a number 2. My number 2 is Shoji.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of
that's a good one.
I feel like people would have thought that he would be my number 1 because I talk about wanting to know his backstory a lot. But not even if we don't get his backstory, I just want more arc focus on him because we know small bits about his personality, but we don't really see him talk very much. We don't know what he's into. We just know that he's a nice guy and there's nothing in his room. He's not materialistic. Why does he cover his face? Like,
Uh,
what else can he, like, he's such a big, strong guy, but we never normally see him, we don't see him in a fighting role. Is that because he's, like, more adverse to violence? Is it, like, people are scared of him a lot? We know that. Does that make him want to be more friendly and not seen as, like, a fighting guy? And if he was then put in that, like, heavy action setting, how would he deal with it? I don't know. So many aspects to his character. And we do know that Horikoshi wants, like, he said that he wants to do a whole, like, he wants to focus on Shoji more. So it is coming at some point. But when?
I guess for him, I just always think, I think it's a filler scene when he kind of, like, cradles Sue because she's really cold, so he's trying to, like, warm her up. And that's, like, the key part of his character for me, because I think he is just, like, a very sweet guy, but he is more surveillance, because he does, like, the ear thing. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, I think he's really interesting. I hope that, because I remember there was those people that the League took down that were, like, like, bestial quirks or something like that. They had a weird name. So I feel like,
bastards, yeah,
the clan bastards. So I wonder, like, I know you mentioned a little bit, like, people being scared of him. So I want, like, I'm trying to, I don't know, I want there to be an angle that Horikoshi could use to make him be more of a focus.
Yeah, like, I feel like that might be, like, intertwined with why he covers his mouth. But we'll see. Hopefully. Hopefully we'll see.
Please! But who knows? As long as the manga doesn't end soon. Because it feels very endgamey, but I think we've gotten enough hints that there is going to be something after. But I thought that for Haikyuu too, so I could be wrong. Whoa. Sorry, I went on a rant there. But are you ready to hear our number ones?
Yes.
Drum roll. I don't know if that sounds annoying. Gary, who do you most want a backstory or to see more of?
All right, so I'm gonna preface this with, like, I'm picking characters that are barely even characters, while you guys are picking characters. But my number one, which is okay, you know. But my number one choice is Bimmy.
Oh, that's a good one.
So, if you don't know, she's the eyelash girl in the support class.
Ah.
Who's in the beauty pageant, and that's like
Gary,
all we know.
you've gone so rogue.
I know, I've gotten really obscure. I've always loved, like, in my entire history with comics, like, the most obscure characters and wanting more, wondering what their deal is, especially her. It's like, what in the world is her deal? Like, why do you look like that? Why do you... She seems like a nice character too. Like, she's not, like, she comes across as vain, like, purposely, and then, like, when she lost the beauty pageant, she was, like, totally okay and
she was very
supportive about it, right? And, like, we don't know what she does in the support class. We kind of see that it's mostly, like, fabrication and building tanks and stuff like that. But it's, like, very different from May. So, I don't know. I think she's really interesting. She's got an interesting design, like, and she's, like, a comedy joke character that I would love to see expanded upon. It'd be fun if, like, there's some major deal with, like, a disaster with the main 3 or 4 characters, and then Bibimi happens to be with them, like, trapped in an elevator or something, and they have to work together or what have you. But yeah, that's my choice.
I don't have to hear anyone else's list. Gary's list is my favorite. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's so good.
I know.
Honestly, that was
like,
really good.
I like the kind of, like, she's not, like, I love that she won, even though she's not, like, traditionally beautiful. She's very out there, and, like, her, like, support gear is almost the focus, besides her, like, giant eyelashes. So, like, I don't know, I'm just fascinated in hero tech people, so I want her to be, like, the tech person for Nijiri or something, and that they kind of, like, that's how they kind of, their rivalry kind of ends in a friendship. I think would be cool, but that, like, I don't know, I want her to come back.
I like the idea too of how Nijiri lost the first beauty pageant because she was trying to, like, out Bibimi, but for Bimini, like she was actually just being herself, and that's why she won. And herself is like this whack, complete whack job basically. But I don't know. I love her.
Or I would just it would be kind of funny if like she just like normally outside the contest she just looks normal. Like or she just has like she's like obviously these eyelashes are fake. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Or at least her family being like really ordinary and just like looking at her like, where did you come from?
Because I think when I first read, I like thought she was part tank or something.
Yeah, same.
And I was like, oh, it's not her legs. But I don't know.
That would be cool too. That's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that'd be nice. Give me more. James, let's hear your number one.
Well, I don't even know how I can follow that, honestly. I mean, wow, Gary, that was such a good choice. Okay, so this one I had kind of a hard choice of having a backstory or an arc, because I feel that canon-wise they might have an arc. But I picked Oji Harima, which was also known as the Peerless Thief, and that was one of the guys that Gentle Criminal mentioned that was alongside Destro and All For One. Now, we only got his appearance in the anime. He kind of looked like a clown jester kind of character. I don't know if you remember what he looked like.
You've gone rogue as well.
Well, because why wasn't he worthy of mention? I know it's Gentle Criminal we're talking about, but I want to know.
Number 2, you went Vigilantes. You're number 1. You've gone for someone mentioned like once.
Well, I want to know if he's important enough because he was mentioned in canon, so I want to know if he's actually a real criminal or is it just somebody that Gentle Criminal kind of like, how can I say, kind of raised the bar on him and said he's like up there with All For One and Destro. But I just want to know what his deal is. Why is he considered an infamous villain and what does he do? Because we know nothing about him at all.
I think it'd be interesting if maybe if he interacted with All For One at all and maybe like All For One got rid of him and took his quirk.
Yeah, I really want to know just because why was he mentioned? Just mentioned. Is he just an off character, just mentioned off the wall or something? Just give me more.
Yes, I hope so.
I want to know if he has like a cool arc or something.
Ooh, yeah. What was the name again?
It's Oji Harima, but I think he was just named the Peerless Thief.
Ooh, I think that's neat. I was trying to think if there's anything in his name that like gives away, because Horikoshi tends to do like names that have meaning.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Is it okay if I do my number one?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yay. My number one is someone we've already seen a lot of, but we haven't got much backstory for them. So my choice is All Might, which might be cheating. But
no, that is a great choice, except for the arc.
Yeah.
Unless it's a history arc.
Yeah, because he already has he's in most arcs during the beginning at least, where he ends the arc. Is that I wonder how he met Nana, and kind of we did see his what made him think I need to be a symbol, and he kind of chose to be a symbol at the cost of friends besides All Might's best friend. But I think maybe we see that a bit more in Vigilantes, that he's kind of lonely. So I don't know, and also I hope for as for arcs, he's already retired, but I would like him to retire to a farm. It's good. I think it's good he's teaching the students, but I want him to be safe. Just go retire on a farm and take care of some cows, All Might. I want Farmer All Might.
All Might was an obvious answer for this question, but he's such a good answer. Sometimes the obvious ones are the best. He would tell us so much of the history of the world. He'd tell us so much about his history. Could tell us so much about Nana. It could tell us so much maybe about Shigaraki and any possible characteristics he could have inherited. It will tell us so much about All For One. It could tell us a lot about Gran Torino.
Mm-hmm.
We need to know, and we're sure we're going to find out. I don't think there's anyone who's oh, I don't want to see more about All Might. No, we all are desperate to know more.
Yes, and he went to UA, so I don't know who taught him. Did he shine from the start or something? That's what I don't know. I'm just I don't know. I find it really
Gran
interesting.
Torino said that he has done. He said that he was a natural.
Oh yeah. But then, like, I guess he didn't really have his debut until, like, he saved those 100 people, like, more, that really, like, the video Deku watched a lot, but he was probably known before that, but just not by 5-year-old Deku. I don't know. But Sophie, who's your number one?
My number one, I think, is similar-ish to All Might, but not as good. Your choice was a great one. I went for Principal Nezu.
Ooh,
He was
I like
experimented on. Who was he experimented on? Why? What did it like? How does that make him feel? Was he born with that quirk? Did they give him it? Was he like born really intelligent and was like, Mom, I love you? And she's just like a normal mouse, not responding, eating something. He's like, Mom, why don't you love me? Let's watch TV. And she's like, no, 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 no. Like, it's sad.
Yeah,
I want to know about.
He's
And then
not human.
yeah, and then how did he like battle his way into being accepted by human society? Is he accepted by human society? What sort of it like resentments there? How did he get to being principal? What made him want to go into education? Like, there's so much there.
I think, like, when he fought Kaminari and... Wait, who fought him again?
He fought Kaminari and Mina.
Because he put on kind of the evil personality there, and I wonder...
Sadistic.
Yeah, or sadistic, like how much of a front that was. And then I think Overhaul mentioned that he believed that quirks came from mice or something, or that it was like inherently dirty. So I wonder if that comes into play with him as well. Like I think that's a really good pick, just because like he's kind of like a goofy principal, and he just doesn't he tend to just kind of pop up. So I hope we find out more about him, because he could also tell us a bit of the history as well.
Yeah,
More Nezu.
I really want more Nezu. Really, really want more Nezu. Yeah, so on to honourable mentions. I have two, and I'm just going to say them first and quickly, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is Riku Yanagami. So she is like the poltergeist from 1B. And I just, again, I think it's a headcanon thing. I want to know, do her family have like similar quirks? Is their house Halloween themed? I don't know. Her aesthetic design intrigues me. And I think if she can't talk to ghosts or anything, that's not her quirk. But an arc where she could be like that spooky side of her could be used. I don't know. I think should be fun to watch. And then my next honourable mention is Justice for Deaf Arms. He's not been useful since we saw him in the first chapter.
He wasn't
Justice
even
for Deaf
then.
Arms.
He wasn't even useful then. He just stood around. His Bakugo died.
Justice for Deaf Arms. Let him be useful in an arc.
I'm here for that.
That's a good one, though.
I guess, okay, honorable mention, Stain, he already got an arc, but I would love for him to come back and, like, interact with the League as they are now, or, like, interact with Deku as he is now. Like, I think he also has, like, an interesting perspective on the Hero Society, so that might be cool to come back, but I don't know if he's too, like, if he could come back without, like, ruining his own arc. I don't know.
Oh, I feel like it's been foreshadowed that he is going to come back, because we got that bit purposefully where he's walking through Tartarus and he looks at All for One and they like acknowledge each other. I don't know. I might be looking into it too much, but I feel like that was foreshadowing that his time is not over.
I'm trying to think. My other one is maybe Toad Girl. I don't remember her name. Well, just like how dangerous her quirk could be, like that she like knew that she could make mushrooms in people's the lungs or their like windpipe or something. So like
What was Toad Girl?
Oh, frog. Oh, no, yeah, no,
Mushroom.
Girl. She looks like I don't know what that was. She has yes,
Toad.
Mushroom Girl.
Toad from Mario. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's why. Oh, I'm sorry. But Mushroom Girl, I forget her name, but I don't know, I think she's cool.
Kokori, I think.
Yes. And I think Vanta Black has a crush on her or something.
Yes.
Correct.
So I would like that kind of dynamic, as well as like I don't know. Well, does her family produce other types of food, other types of fungi? So, is she one of Big Mom's daughters? I want to know. But
And any other honourable mentions?
I think you've mentioned it before, but that creature clan, what was it called? That were like against like animal type quirks.
I think they might have just been the anti-creature clan.
Yeah, I want to know more about that side of it, honestly.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're culty and yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I want to know what the deal is. Is there's cults within this world, and they're like, it's weird. I want to know more about it.
And how like popular they were, or were they more popular? I think they said they were like a bigger deal in the past.
Yeah, and I think it was a mutant type quirks, and not animal quirks per se. I think it's just mutant types.
And I guess mutant type quirks. I'm surprised that Sophie's runner-up wasn't whatchamacall or honorable mention Spinner. I think we already got his backstory, but I hope that he definitely gets more chance to shine.
Yeah.
I feel like his arc is coming.
Ooh, Mr. Compress was also a good one that I just remembered would have been a good backstory. I want to know if he really was a magician.
Yes, what's his deal? I want to see him without his like ski mask over his face. He is cute. Let me know his
Do we have any other honourable mentions? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I hadn't done mine
know
yet.
his name?
I don't know.
We probably do because like Tsukauchi like listed everybody off except for Dabi.
Oh, I have it right here actually.
It's Atsuhiro Sako. I just want him to be a former magician, and that's it.
Yeah, I want to see that. So yeah, he was actually on my list for honorable mentions, and we kind of covered him a little bit. The other one is Vlad King. I'd like to see him in action using his quirk more, which would be kind of hard to like depict in a, kids manga technically. But I also love like how devoted he is to his students. He seems like one of the best teachers there. And I want to learn more. How did he become a teacher?
I think was Sophie the one who picked him because he has a dog.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Why is he a dog lover? Let's show his dog. Just show me pictures of his dog. That's all I want.
Yes, dog arc. Oh, honorable mention also dog cop.
Cat nurse, cat. And what's his name? Miyashita. Like his backstory up to
I'm
his
surprised
tragic death.
Miyashita wasn't your number one.
Well, because he can't really go anywhere with what happened to him.
He rises again.
Minoshita couldn't be Gary's number one because he was on screen for more than like one tiny panel.
Yeah.
He had a few pages.
Yeah, he wasn't obscure enough.
But do we want to, Sophie? I think you have a list of our audience's backstory wishes.
Yes. So Lena Branimi 9 on Twitter said that Tetsu really needs more screen time. True.
Yes.
And then Papi Chulo said Nana Shimura, which is a good choice, and she ties in so well with All Might's backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely need more. Jacob Kiley said everyone in Class 1B, also a cop-out just like you, Kendra.
I want to know all about them.
Yep, you're in good company because Black CA and then a lot of numbers. They said Class 1. They said Class 1B too. So there's 3 cop-outs.
Yeah, they need a spin-off. I think someone said B-side heroes. I forget who said that though, but I think it'd be a cool name.
Yeah. Red Hair Rant says in Class 1A they'd like to see more of Tokiyami and Shoji. Yeah, no one mentioned Tokiyami.
Oh yeah, I want his backstory. Does he just have human parents?
Yeah, and in terms of him having his own sort of arc, I'm we're gonna see more of him now. Hopefully, in the upcoming chapters.
If he doesn't get turned into Thanksgiving dinner.
No. Him teaming up with Shoji would be cool. And they also continue to say otherwise a Miyako backstory would be cool too.
Ooh.
Yes, everyone agrees.
I like that everyone's, just because of Horikoshi's sketches, they've decided that Hawks and her went to school together.
Yeah, because he did a sketch this week, didn't he, Horikoshi?
Mm-hmm.
And then Sporeman Zero said, Mr. Compress for sure. We know next to nothing about him, but he's still stuck around all this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a popular choice. And then the only other one we got is from Soy Sauce Takami, who, when I posted saying which character most deserves their own arc and backstory, I put a picture of Tetsu, and they just replied in bold capitals, "Yes, Queen!" So I think that was a vote for Tetsu.
Yes. Honestly, yeah, because I like that he's kind of like the dumb muscle, but then he like works well with kendo and like powers through. So yeah, see, all of Class B is gold.
Yes.
No, it's a cop-out. How dare you? All three or four of you.
Yes, the majority is right.
Yeah. So, one beer gold. But they're all great. There's no one that I want to see less of except for Flaming.
Oh, I think...
Burnin.
Did we censor this? I think someone did vote for Mineta.
Did they?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, you're probably right. Someone probably did say Mineta and I didn't see it.
Oh,
Not for any dislike of Mineta. I do quite like him.
I think it might be nice because I do want to see his character outside of being a gross teenage boy. And just his quirk can be really powerful just because he's the only one who can disconnect his hairy balls from people. I'm sorry, Leah. How do you talk about his quirk without saying balls?
I mean, you can say balls. Balls isn't an inherently dirty word.
Is it? Yes. No, I don't know. But I wouldn't mind more as long as like he kind of grows as a character a little bit. So, sure. Sorry, I kind of just like went down a hole there. Is that all for? That's all for this bonus episode. Let's start rounding it out. Gary, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Rap of Giraffe.
James, where can we find you?
Find me on MySpace. Well, I mean Twitter. MySpace is dead, folks. But you can find me on Twitter at That One Welder Guy. I have two podcasts, the Kicking Stones podcast and Weeb Jammin'. You can find those at Dr. Stone Pod, and Weeb Jammin' is at Jammin' Weeb.
Sophie, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Choppers Antlers.
Nice. You can find me on Twitter at Sniper of My Heart. And I also have another podcast where we talk about Haikyuu. It's called, you can follow that on Twitter at Haikyuu Pod. And you can follow the podcast on Twitter at MHA Pod. We also will be asking, maybe in a few weeks or so, some more questions that you can answer as well to participate with us. Or just tweet us questions. We'll answer them. Or you can email us at myheropod@gmail.com. You can also check out our website and ask us questions there at www.mhapod.com. And
I look forward to next week's chapter with the rest of us.
Yeah.
It's not 2 weeks, isn't it? It's next week there'll be the next chapter.
Yep.
Woo! Stay excited, stay safe, and go beyond.
Plus
Ultra! Yeah, that was the closest we got, I think.
This is my hero academia. This is manga news and more. Plus Ultra. Ooh, they're my hero academia.
Welcome.
Oh,
to
no.
episode-
Wait.
Ah! What?
Oh, okay, you can record now.